Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the Release Show. I'm your host, Brittany Skyers. We're back with season two. I took a little break because I was pregnant and I had my precious baby girl, Sylvie, in June. It's great to be back, but hey, I had to take a little break with the family. On today's show, we have Gwen Rue. Gwen is the founder of Mom Power, the author of The Balance in Me, The Spiritual Journey, and an advocate of brown girls. Gwen, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me?
I can. I'm
Awesome.
so excited to have you on the show and for everyone to hear about what you're doing in the world, in the industry of advocating. So you attended Florida Memorial University in Miami for business administration. What happened that made you have to leave college before obtaining your degree?
Wow. Listen, well, first I left college. I fell in love. I'm gonna say that up front. And then we have a little being, Cydnee Russell, my daughter. I had to take a break for that. And, I heard you mention you got to take a break for family. And I had to redirect my path and go that route. I became a mom early. And, to me, it was early. And I had to, step up to that responsibility. So that's what made me, say, hey, Florida Memorial, I love you, but I'll be back.
So did you end up going back?
For a brief time. But of course, motherhood kind of, superseded that for me. But going back, I said, you know what? I know that there are some people that are like me. So that's when I, ended up partnering with a friend of mine, and we started the scholarship fund because there were some mothers that, had to stop school, had to, do other things, and it was like, okay, let's put some funds in place for them, if they, need the assistance with that. Sometimes it be money where they can't go back or whatever it is, so that's where the Brown Girl Scholarship came into play.
Well, that is incredible, and we'll talk about that a little further in the interview. Before we dive into your noteworthy achievements, we would like to know what inspired you to become a voice for women.
Wow. For me to be that voice, it took a lot because I had my own adversities. Going through a divorce, it was really tough for me mentally, and of course mentally, physically, and then when physically step into play financially. So I was like, you know what?
Mm.
I know that there were some things that I need to do, and in that dark space, um, going through that, there were my mental health took a whole nother turn. And I said, I had to have that conversation with God, like, hey, listen,
Yeah.
I know there's more for me to do. And sometimes you just don't see it at that time. You don't see it at that time. I don't know what's happening in my life here, but at that time, I knew that it was more for me to do. And he said it as well, because I was at my lowest. And, it was like, there are other women that are out there for me. I need to put in this work. And he said, I wasn't going to let you go. So that was like an epiphany for me that I need to be that advocate because there are more women like me that go through certain things, that go through these different adversities, divorce, suicidal thoughts, losing their job, being discriminated against, all those different things. And I went through those things. I don't know what's happening with this light over here, but that's okay. It's not going to be a distraction for the word that needs to get out. But
Amen.
that's where I was. I was like, I need to be that voice. And from then on, I got up, I pulled up my bootstraps, and I said, let's move forth. Gwen, this is
Yeah.
Gwen Rue. This is the time. Let's go. So
Yes, yes, I love it. Balancing work and life is very important for your mental health. What are some tips that you have for those who are struggling with balancing their lives?
well, the main thing too is pray, plan, and execute. Sometimes we do things and set things up where we're not going to the Most High about this. And I said first I have to pray. And when you come out of at that war room, when you come out of that moment, you're like, okay, he's going to begin to give you those steps. So that's where the plan comes into play. Okay, so you begin to plan what's going to be next for you, what what your moves are going to be. And then once you have that plan that's written down, then you begin to execute. So those are some of the things that help me balance, with work, with my outside activities, with my family. I have to pray, plan, and execute.
Yes, honey. Do we have some T-shirts and something with that says pray, plan, and execute? Because
And
I feel like
we
we
do.
need to have on a shirt that represents that saying, because that's amazing. We need to pray, plan, and execute. That is
Yes,
so
indeed we
true.
do.
So we do. Where can we
We do.
purchase that?
Well, actually, they're going to be at the Mom Power event. That was something
Okay.
that it's so funny that you have these things going on in your mind and you don't write them down, right? And I've been,
Right.
praying, planning, and executing, and saying this constantly, and doing it. So I was like, this really needs to be on a T-shirt. This needs to be on a mug, you know. So I those are actually in production for Mom Power.
Yay, that's
You got the
exciting.
exclusive. You got the exclusive.
I did. So let's go ahead and talk about Mom Power. You founded Mom Power. Please tell us more about it and what's its purpose.
Well, like I said, I had to take a step back, leaving university, with a lot of things to be that mom. And a lot of people don't know that we are superheroes. Moms are superheroes. I'm sorry. So that's where the power comes into play. It's like
Yes.
the power comes into play, and that's where it derived from. I decided to get some of my multi-million dollar friends together because I am watching them, do this thing. Their moms, their sisters, their wives, their cousins, their everything to everybody. And it's like,
Mhm.
hold on a second. Let tell me how you're balancing this thing out. I have my Mom Power Originals, Miss Pam McCrae and Miss Crystal Roll and Miss Shelby Russian and Miss Kendra Bullock Major. I got those ladies together because I watched them. It's like we grew together, and I'm watching
Uh-huh.
them do this thing. They're balancing this thing out. You need to speak to some people about this, right? You need to talk to some people about this. And I'm gonna fix my lighting just a tad bit here. But I said to them, I said, you guys need to write this down. Let's talk to some people. Let's talk to some women that are trying to balance their way to success, and you guys can feed into that. So with the mom being that superhero, that power comes into it because it takes a lot. It takes a lot. Just the
Right.
like I said, that prayer room, that war room, being that sister girl that is going to, kind of agree, but yet and still shake you. And I,
Yes.
I, I actually chose those women because they are different in every area of my life. I have that person, okay, we're gonna ride. Let's go. That person. And then I have the other one like Gwen, wait a minute, let's hold up a second. And then the other one, like, did you thoroughly think that thing out, right? And then I have that main one that say, you know what, let's go, let's pray about
Yeah.
this, right? So I chose those ladies for the different reasons to come in, and I wanted people to understand that you can do it too. They did it. They all come from different backgrounds, and they all had a different village, and we could talk about that too, in different villages. And I watched them do that. So why not be able to pour into others? And they're married. Um, all of them are married, and I'm like, okay, let's talk about this too. Let's talk about relationships. Let's talk about
Yes.
finances. Let's talk
Yes.
about how you're juggling all of that. And we hear from women a lot, and just with this upcoming Mom Power, we hear from women a lot. So I said, let's take a twist on this. Okay, let's talk to the men. Let's do that. So that's this year we're going to hear from a strong, power packed panel of men, and how they're balancing their way to success, and what do they seek in a relationship, and what do they look in a woman that is going to support them in climbing the ladder, and putting themselves in position. So it's going to be a little different. And relationship, what were they looking for? A lot of women don't know what the man is looking
What
for.
the men is
Okay,
looking for.
they want to be found, right? they,
Yes.
they want to be found. Or even they out there looking, but they
Right.
don't know what they're looking for.
Exactly.
So I want them to kind of dive into that as well. So we got some questions for them.
Yes, I'm excited. I'm excited for this year's panel. Just to touch back on what you were saying, for Mom Power event taking place on May 8th, starting at
Yes,
4 p.m. at the Whitmore Hotel in Coral Gables, Florida. You chose
yes.
to have a panel of all men. What inspired you to have an all men's panel?
Well, listen, like I said, it is funny that the male voice has now silenced. And the reason why I
Mhm.
say that is because right now women are on the pillar of successful. They are doing everything, almost, they're climbing the ladder. So I'm
Oh
like,
yes,
that the ladder. I mean, right now some people are just on the roller skates up the ladder,
yes,
but now we are. I don't hear from my brothers. I don't hear from my uncles. I don't hear, from the dads, and how they get it done in this day. Society has took a twist on that, and the voice has been silent, and that's why I said, let's hear from the men. Let's hear their perspective on how they balance in their way as a father, as an uncle, as that CEO, as that entrepreneur, as that the that person that's been there, that's been the foundation in their home. So their voice has been silent. So why not bring them forth?
I agree. It's so funny when my husband and I are out at the mall. You know, it's about to be Mother's Day, or we're in a store, and he was like, "Look at this section of men, and then look at all this big old section for women." To me, it kind of reflects that in the real life too, real life situations. Like women, we have all these things, right? But then men get acknowledged like this little bit, but women get all these acknowledgments. And I think that's what we need to do, is acknowledge men more,
Yes.
especially on Father's Day. And
Yes.
I do see that, you know what I mean? Because we do have great fathers out there. We do have
Yes.
great male mentors out there. And I think it's very important that we highlight men, because sometimes they feel some kind of way about it and it's hard for them to express themselves, right?
Yes.
And so I think this event is going to be amazing, and to hear from the men is going to be groundbreaking, because, women want to hear from men, and
Yes.
sometimes they're afraid to express their feelings, like I mentioned. And so I think this is going to be incredible. And I am hoping that I'm able to attend the event. I saw it, I went online, and I'm like trying to line up something for my baby because I
Right.
breastfeed. But I
Right.
really want to be in attendance because I'm super excited about
Yeah.
this event. Okay, tell
Yeah.
us a little bit more about the men on the panel and how they were selected to be a part of the event.
Well, I was very strategic in selecting them, and I have to say this. When you talked about Father's Day, they probably get maybe a 30-second commercial on Saturday just before Father's Day, right? And it's so funny when
Uh-huh.
speaking to some of the men that I chose, they all said to me, they don't want to hear from us. And I was like, no, that's not the case. And I was like, they do. Women want to hear from the men.
Yes.
And I was very strategic in choosing them because they all tapped into every area that I wanted to talk about. you know Relationships. We let's talk about relationships. So
Yes.
I had been following this gentleman on social media for a while. I mean, like, for a while. And some men would actually say, oh, he's telling all the secrets, but no, he's just making sure that we are aware, as women, aware. So that's Mr. Rodney Collier. And I've watched people. I didn't like much, like a lot. I just looked at him and I said, you know what, he'll be great to speak to us about some of the relationships. and then and things, some of the things that women should look out for, are some of the practices of some gentlemen, right? So I was like, you're not coming on as a snitch, but you're just kind of getting us together, right? You're getting us together. And then I chose Mr. Nathan McCray. And when I think about Mr. McCray, he's a life success coach, and I watched him as well, with his career, and also his teachings and his coaching on how to be successful. And he has his own academy, IAO Academy, Improvise, Adapt, and Overcome. His academy, he used to say it and say it and say it, and he launched his academy on that to help us through our business, things to, maneuver throughout your business in order to be successful, not just the financial portion, but mentally the mindset. So, just listening to his teachings is like, wait a minute, this is something that you can not only use in your either direct sales career, but in your work life on some of the things, some of how to not be easily distracted. And then if you are, how do you improvise and adapt and overcome to get through it, to move forward? So that's very strong. And then I was selected Mr. Troy Woods out of the DC area, and he's the founder of 300 Fathers. Now let's talk about that, because what he does is he assists gentlemen into streamlining their lives through fatherhood. He has talked to gentlemen that are now single fathers. The mother is now paying child support. They're ordered to pay child support, right? Because we all just assume that the male is the gentleman that is supposed to take it, but ordered to pay child support, right? And they're not doing so, or they're first time fathers and they have no clue. Their father is not in their life, their grandfather is not in their life. So tell me, I brought a human into this world. How do I maneuver through that? You know, and he's going to bring some insight on some of the things that fathers do deal with, you know. And then I have uh, Mr. Daryl Hodge, Mr. Hodge, okay? He's out of the South Florida area, and he wrote a book, Life is What You Make It. And he is very strong because he is a mentor to a lot of our children here in South Florida. He is showing them the avenues on, choices that could be made, the choices that you choose, things like that. So, I went from the children, I went from the finance, I went from the fatherhood, I went from the relationship side. I wanted to be very strategic that we're covering all these areas so that women can ask these questions, and all balancing all those things to be successful, balancing all those avenues, those areas that can, that's going to help us understand the male species on how to get it done.
This is going to be an incredible event, and I would like for you to let everyone know how they can get tickets to attend the event next weekend.
Awesome. So you can get tickets at gwenrue.com. Okay. GWENRUE.com, and click shop with Gwen. The tickets are $40 for general admission and $75 for a VIP.
Yay! Being an
Yeah.
advocate takes hard work and dedication. And you are an advocate for brown girls. Why do you think it is very important to advocate for brown girls?
I think it's very important because, like, what we fail to realize is that there's so much discrimination, I would say, when it comes to our melanin, and just being out there representing a positive in a positive light, that we're not twerking, okay, we're not hanging out doing things of that nature. I want to be a positive advocate, and letting people know that, guess what, we're not just what some social media or the videos that are being shown. Being a brown girl, and when we came up with the idea, it was like, listen, it was, we're both brown, we're brown girls. That's
Mhm.
it. Neither one of our names are brown, But we're brown girls, and this is what we're this is what we're representing. We're
Yeah,
representing a positive light of young women that are out here that are want to help other women shine. That's it.
that's
Help other
amazing.
women escalate, and that's it. From anywhere from our Christmas drives, from feeding the homeless, Thanksgiving, whatever it is, our scholarship fund, whatever it is that is going to help another woman shine in a positive light. That's what we are. We celebrate others because one day we'll be celebrated.
That is so true. I love that
Yeah.
positive attitude. What does Black Girl Magic mean to you?
Man, do we have how much time we got? Yeah.
You got all the time in the
Hey,
world.
let me tell you, Black Girl Magic. Listen, the words alone, okay? Black alone is powerful. Magic means power. It's strong. We make things happen. Black Girl Magic to me, Olivia Pope. Okay, it doesn't matter
Yes.
what is thrown in front of us, we can handle it. When you think of Black Girl Magic, right? There's nothing. I can think back to my grandmother. Okay, strong woman, 10 children, okay, 8 girls, all right, 2 boys, okay. When you think of a strong Black family, Black Girl Magic, she handled that. Okay,
Yeah.
everybody knew everybody's name, knew exactly what they needed, knew exactly where they're going. The magic was there, and I came from Black Girl Magic. I watched my aunts, I watched my mom. That is an epitome of Black Girl Magic for me. Just her tenacity and making sure that we were taken care of. That right there is like my hero, my person when I think of Black Girl Magic. And I see it every day. I see it in you. I see, Black Girl Magic happening with you. I see
Thank you.
Black Girl Magic happening, when I'm riding it down 27th Avenue and I see the magic happening because people are now own Black girls are now owning their own gas station.
Yeah.
They're owning their own, they're owning their own Starbucks. They're owning their own, they're doing what needs to be done, okay, from what they have within. I see Black Girl Magic when you decide I no longer want to be a stripper. I want to own my own business. Okay.
Business.
The Black Girl Magic is happening. All
Yeah.
right. I no longer want to be a part of the system. I don't want food stamps. I don't want to be on Section 8. I want to own, duplex and triplex. That's Black Girl Magic. I
Black
see
Girl
it
Magic.
happen every day, and I applaud Black Girl Magic. I'm like a super cheerleader. All of my girlfriends
Yes.
are. I'm a cheer. I'm a cheer yo.
Yes, Black Girl
Black
Magic.
Girl Magic. That's it.
Yes, I love it. Yes, I love seeing my ladies excel in life and,
Mhm.
turn their story into something powerful because we all went through something growing up,
Yes.
whether it's having a relationship with your mom that may not have been what you wanted and things like that, but coming from those strong Black women and seeing what they did just to pave the way for us is incredible. My grandmother, my mom's mom, had 16 kids. She had 9 girls and 6 boys. And my grandma on my father's side had 11.
Mm.
So I know how it is to come from a big family and we just keep growing. The Haddocks family is just growing, growing, and growing.
Growing,
I
growing.
mean, it's
Like,
just
whose child is that?
it's
That's the new baby.
yes. I I know my cousins are always posting on Facebook, new baby. And I'm like, this is incredible. Keep having them, keep making the family expand so we can continue this legacy on
Yes.
that my grandma created for us. But yeah, Black Girl Magic is amazing. I love seeing my friends and people I don't even know, excel in life, where they become, like you said, investment owners, investing in properties. I have this friend who I worked with. His wife and him, they both invest in properties. And for her birthday, he bought her an investment property in Brooklyn, New York, where she's from.
Woo!
And I think
Where's
that's
his
incredible,
brother?
We need exactly Black Girl Magic. We need that, you know. I just published a children's book
Mm,
about 2 weeks ago, you know, for my little
congratulations.
girls. So I've written books for both of my little girls, and so I want to prepare that path for them, you know, so they'll know when they get older that they have these books. One is 7, so she knows she has two books. But the baby, I wrote one for her, and she doesn't know, of course. But when she sees it, she lights up, and I'm like, oh my
Mm,
gosh, that's so
yes,
amazing. So yes,
legacy.
I just want to, yes, I want to create that legacy for them, so that they know they can own things and they don't have to work for someone if that's not a choice of theirs. And you know, I just want to be a mentor and a great role model for them.
Yes, indeed. That's what it's about. People don't
Yes.
understand that, it's huge. The name, Sears and Roebucks, that's a name, okay? Uh,
Yes.
those are names. Chrysler, a name, right? So you
Name,
want to
yes.
put your name out there, and that's huge. And I want people to remember Gwendolyn Bennett, Gwen Rue, that Bennett name, that's a name.
Yes.
The
Yes.
legacy is strong. The name. So,
That is true. That name. They hear
mhm,
it, they're like, oh, I know that. I know her, you know. So I love it. Yes.
yeah,
The name.
I
You wrote a
it's
book.
Mhm.
Go
Go
ahead.
ahead. I'm sorry. No, no, no. I was saying that the name Gwen Rue, it took me some years to actually grow into that. That I went by Gwen, I went by Gwendolyn for a while, and the Rue came from my aunt. And I have to tell you that my mom had me at 17, and she went to sleep, and when she woke up, I was Gwendolyn Rue Bennett. She didn't.
You
So
didn't.
the well, hey, grandma was grandma. This is what we're doing, and
Yeah.
and my aunt Rue is like the she's the matriarch, strong, powerful name, and it took me some time to grow into that name, and it was like, you know what, I am now Gwen Rue. This is it.
Yes. The power of that name.
Power of the name. Power of the name.
Yes. You wrote a book named The Balance in Me, The Spiritual
Yes.
Journey. What do you
Yes.
hope readers will gain from reading your book?
Well, I hope that they will gain encouragement. When I wrote that book, I was in a dark space. Sometimes when you are going, and you forget, and I'm gonna say for me, I forgot. Like, God sits you down. He's like, hey, now you asked me for things. I'm giving you these things, but you're forgetting to give me my praise. God is jealous. He's like, listen, you have to you're gonna have to come on back. You get on your knees, and that and there during that time it was I had to humble myself and
Mhm.
just encouragement. And in that journal, I did put a passage in there that, God wants you to recognize him, and he wants you to be humble. Bring it back. All right. I send you out, bring it back. And I put in there where there's the passages where you can also write your own notes. I journaled a lot. I still have journals from my divorce. It was an outlet for me where, it was, I couldn't, I felt I could not speak to my friends or my mom or whomever about what I was dealing with mentally. So I began to journal and write these things down. So that's why I put a journal portion in the book, so that, when you finish reading that passage, if it resonates with you, write it down. Write down what you're feeling in that journal. So it was more of an encouragement. Um, and that was my first book, so I was kind of nervous, like, what do I put in, how do I do it, so I was like, okay, well, here you go, he said do it, here you go.
Do it.
But that was for encouragement, and that's how I felt. I was like, I'm gonna put this out. Okay, Jesus. And then I knew that what in everything I do, I pray, I
Praise
plan,
him.
and then I execute.
Mhm.
Hmm.
That is so true. I remember when I first wrote my book. It was more like therapy for me. I would pick up my laptop and I would just type away because I wanted to get it out of me and it would help me. And so
Yeah.
that's how I produced my first book. And a lot of people that I've spoken to, a lot of other authors say the same thing, is that they were going through a dark time in their life and that's when they wrote their book. So I think when we're going through those times, we need to really use that time to focus on us and to really execute, like you said, pray, plan, and execute, because I think that time is when we birth something very powerful.
Yeah.
Is when we're going through those dark times because we're able to really be vulnerable and to be
Yes.
ourselves. And so when we're on a high in life, sometimes you kind of forget what you've been through. And so
Yes.
just like this particular year for me, year 35 has been incredible. You know, God has blown my mind in so many different ways, so many things that I prayed for many years ago. He made me be still for 8 years in order to bless me with what he wanted to bless me with
Wow.
now. And see, I didn't see that. You know,
Yeah.
there were times when I was like, you know, God, I don't understand. You know, I see everybody else around me getting promotions or doing
Yeah.
all this. And it's like, I tithe, I do my thing, you know, I pray, you know, do all of this. I plan and I don't understand what's wrong with me, you know, and I will always go
Mhm.
back to that, what's wrong with me. And then finally I just say, you know what? Humble yourself. God time
Yeah.
is the best time. And so I had
Yeah.
to be patient and be still. And when I did that, he blew my mind. The kind of
Amen.
blessings I've received in the past 6 months are, I mean, it's crazy how your life can go from this to this in a
Yeah.
matter of seconds.
Yeah.
I mean, I was blown away and still blown away with the
Yeah.
things that are continuously happening in my life. And so, if we stay prayerful and allow God to guide our lives, we will receive everything that He has for us. And
Exactly.
I
He's- Yeah.
yes,
And a lot of people don't even realize that it's not your season, you know?
yes,
And you gotta be your mindset has to be totally different to understand that it's not your season. And it's
mm,
okay to smile and clap and celebrate and not get in that, why not me? Why not me? You know, like I said, what did I say to you? I got my multi-million-dollar friends
friends,
to speak. Okay.
yes,
I'm on my
yes,
journey. So to be
you are,
able to have that relationship and celebrate each and every one of them, you got to be able to clap. It's okay. It's
hey,
okay. And some people don't understand that it is okay
mm-hmm,
to celebrate them, you know, and not
it
there celebrate them and there's nothing on the back end. That was your
yes,
you had to go through that time, that whole time, watching other people flourish, right? But guess what? Right now he's like, she faithful. I like that.
yeah,
I'm watching her. I like that. I'm preparing her. I like that.
yeah,
She's just doing her work.
yes,
And you take
yeah,
your focus on why not me. And when you take your focus on why not me, and you begin to glean in your own, walk in your
yes,
own, that's
yes,
boom. And like you
it
said,
is.
0 to 60. Zero
I
to
know.
60.
I was just blown away. I was
Right.
like so blown away. I just
Mhm.
couldn't believe the things that were happening. I mean, it was just amazing. I didn't even know how to speak about it because remember you mentioned something about, you know, God like giving him his praise. And for a moment when these things were happening, I was so still. I was like, is this real? You know what I mean? And so I'm like, I know it's real, but I gotta let other people know this, you know, but I don't
Right.
want to sound arrogant, you know what I mean? Because sometimes people take those things as being arrogant. And so
Eesh.
I said, whatever, I'm just gonna say it because I know what God has done for me and I know everything that I had to go to get to this point. So
Right.
you guys may not know because in the dark when I'm crying behind closed doors and just hoping that things are right, listen, there's a reason
Right.
to be praising his name today, you know. So
Exactly.
I had to let the
Exactly.
world know. Yes.
Scream
And I'm
from the
very transparent about
mountaintops.
my life. Say it again.
I said scream from the mountaintops. I listen, thank
Yes.
you.
Yes. And I'm very transparent about my life. I'll tell you the good, the bad, and the ugly. I do not
Mhm.
care, you know, because that's what helps inspire other people. That's what helps,
Yeah.
you know, motivate other people. And that's the reason why I create this show, the Release Show, to release your story into the atmosphere to help bless
Yes.
others and inspire others. And so
Yeah.
you never know, someone could be listening, like, you know what, I need to be still because sometimes you have to be still. You have to
And
know when to be still and let God guide your footsteps.
be still and be quiet. Shh.
Yes.
Hush. Like, hush. Shh. That's the best
Yes.
time. And then
Yes.
talking, how can you hear when somebody when your mouth is moving? You can't use your ears.
Exactly.
Hush.
That is right. Which book, author, and business person or public figure would you say influenced your growth the most?
Ooh. Hmm. Hmm. Let's see here. Because right now we are, oh wow. You got me. Yes. Because it's so many. I mean, it's so many. I'm gonna have to say that.
It's
Let
so
me
many.
see.
Okay.
Because you know what? Right now I am, oh my God. This young lady, actually she's gonna be at the event. Is girl get your ass up. And this is just recently, right?
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Because her name is Shatoya, okay?
Okay.
And I'm
Okay.
reading this book, right? Because it resonates with me. Because when you, like, for example, I can beat myself up real good sometimes. I can, okay? But this book, now the just turning the pages with this book is that it is talking to you when you are self-doubt is creeping in. And I don't know, and I'm speaking to people that can put an event together, things like that, and you are doubtful, but you still you doubt and faith can't stay in the same place. I get it. But I this book is actually in my bed. It's in my bed because I have to open this book, and I told the young lady, I said, I read your book. I called her and I said, I read your book. And I said, I am glad that you're going to be at Mom Power because there's going to be some people that really can't, that they can't get up. Relationship, breakup, heartbreak, it touches on that. It goes deep on that where you can't move, and I remember that. I remember that space or being denied, like you talk about, for certain things, and it helps you get up. It has she has two books. So the book get your ass up. That one, excuse me, guys. That's
No.
the one I read. But I use the other one with the affirmations, over 200 pages of affirmation for whatever you're dealing with. Right.
Wow.
For whatever you're dealing with is there. So you can just flip the pages and it's like, oh, this me. Let's go. You know. But that's what I'm reading now. I can go anywhere from your John Maxwell's. Yes, I've read those. I've read the 38 laws of power. I've read that as well. All these books that set out to me, that I've read, but something that really like my day, what I'm dealing with presently is that one.
Mhm.
Because I
Okay.
gotta move. You have to move. Um, wow, you got me. Because I books. Because you have to have something. And I must tell everybody, self-development is everything. So you need these
Yes,
books around you
you do.
to help you grow. I wanted to, we're right now, oh Jesus Lord, I went blank. So if somebody put in the chat what we're reading in our book club right now, please. I'm 51, y'all. Blame it to the heart, not the bad.
No, tell me a little bit about the book club. Can
We
anybody join, or is it just like
Yeah, we
your
we have a book
friends?
club with our team over at Created for Greatness, and the my business partners at Total Life Changes, and we have mind, body, and money, mind, body, and money. So we focus on those things, and in the mind portion, we do have a book club where we are reading a book presently, and it has, you know, it helps you choose your first thoughts, your thoughts. Put it in the chat. Somebody gonna chime in.
Changing
Text me.
your thinking, changing your life. Is that
Boom. Who put that there? Miss Pam McCray. Who put that?
Miss Muhammad?
Oh, thank you, Nadira. So exactly. So that this book has been definitely been changing the way we think, the choices that we make. What would be your first thought? And a lot of times when we, somebody cut us off, what's your first thought? Not like, hey, all right, he's in a rush, I'm gonna let him go. Or God doggone it, why did he cut me off? You start calling all these different, so exactly, the human in you, the human in you. So these are the choices that you make in your thought process. What's your first thought in the morning? When you get up, are you already thinking of the stuff you
Yes,
got to do? Or are you saying, thank you, Lord? What's your first thought? You know, the first 8 seconds of your brain moving is up for most people is already on, oh God, the stuff I have to do. That makes you immediately tired.
yes,
Because you're already thinking about those things. So that's
yes.
the book that we're reading now in our book club. And
That is
we've been having some very good books in that book club though. Who
that
stole
is
my
so
chicken?
cool.
All those
I
things.
like that. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get the author of the book that you spoke about on the show. I got to hear more about this. I'm gonna have to
Yes,
look it up.
yes, yes.
Well, thank you so much for being on the show. I'm looking forward to hearing more inspiring work from you in the future. Please let everyone know how they can follow you on social media, how they can attend your event that's happening next weekend.
Yes, so definitely you can follow me on Instagram at Miss Gwen Rue, MsGwenRue. Also on Facebook, you can Gwendolyn Bennett or Gwen Rue on social media as well. I mean, sorry, Facebook as well. I'm also on Twitter, Miss Gwen Rue as well on Twitter. So I'm
Yeah,
everywhere.
there you are. That's amazing.
Oh,
I'm
and the
so excited that we
I'm
were
sorry.
able to do your interview. You need to say something?
I was going to
Go
say the event May 8th, Biltmore 4 to 7. Most definitely, you can get your tickets at gwenrue.com. $40 for general admission, $75 for VIP. And we're going to have some fun. And I'm going to feed you. You're going to have dinner at the Biltmore.
Oh, nice. That
Prizes,
hotel is
gifts.
beautiful, if
Yes,
I
it
must
is.
say.
Yes,
It
it is.
is
We're going to have
so
a good time.
beautiful.
Thank you.
I did a photo shoot there and it is incredible.
Yes.
That hotel is beautiful and
The
I like the
history.
history. I like the
Beautiful
history.
place, the architecture, everything. Very nice.
Yes, I know
Very
it's
nice.
going to be um, a very amazing event. And like I said, I really hope that I can attend it next week and I'm going to see what I
I'm
can do to get
I'm
there.
praying so. I'm praying so. Your name will definitely be at the door.
Oh, thank you. Well, thank you guys for tuning into the release show. I'll see you next time. Mhm. Bye bye.